The following is a Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to the Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. It's the Powercat Podcast. And now, let's go to the Spirit Street Studios. Here's your host, Go Powercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to another edition of the Powercat Podcast. It's Pro Day here at the office. We've been running some sprints, lifting some weights. I did really well in the candy consumption event. And I think people are interested in picking us up.
I came in second in that one.
Yeah.
Had a Milky Way.
Those Milky Ways. Tim Fitzgerald, Riley Gates, Zach Carlson. Another edition. Issue. Guys, I'm really, seriously.
I'm printing another magazine.
How old is the magazine?
I had to kick myself off Twitter today because every tweet I sent out had a factual or grammatical error in it. I got Alex Trebek's pancreatic cancer, which is awful, confused with prostate cancer, which is still bad, but not nearly the same.
Is that news?
Yeah. It happened while you were in
Stage
that
4.
meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that...
and bless his heart, I'm like, when I'm listening to it, I have prostate cancer on my mind, of course, because that's what it always is. And he's talking about how severe it is. I'm going, yeah, it's pretty bad, but he's talking about pancreatic cancer, stage 4, dude. You're not. I hate to be this gloomy, but you're not making it through the 3-year contract unless it's almost a miracle. Some people do, and it's basically the chances of a miracle. But like my 2 friends who passed earlier this year or last year, it was 3 months. It was 2 months. I mean, it just goes. It just
Fitz sees the word cancer, and he knows what he knows what he's looking for.
Yeah, it's a P word with cancer, and
You're like, that's me.
And then one of our buddies, the real Mike T, saw my screwed up tweet and was at the doctor at the time and said, "Hey, I want my PSA scored." So I said, "Well done," but I said,
Wheel done?
Yeah, WE''LL.
Does your phone correct it to that?
I don't know. I have no idea how that one happened. It must have. I'm going to blame autocorrect.
Glad you were able to do it together.
Golly. Then Zach was at a pool meeting. Did you have to wear a Speedo at the meeting?
Not this time.
Okay.
Technically, that is the brand we use.
Zach is the king of the Manhattan pools. People don't know that.
Literally.
No.
He wears a crown at work, crown, Speedo, and whistle. That's it, man. That's all he's got on most of the summer.
Okay.
The vision of that is just horrific.
Maybe.
I hope we got some good stuff here. We got a little bit going on.
I'm not going to lie. It's a great podcast.
As I mentioned about Pro Day, it actually took place at K-State, and we knew it because we were invited.
Yeah.
We were able to confirm this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we should just address it off the top before we get going, because there was only one Pro Day question, and it was just kind of who stuck out, so I didn't really put it in there. It didn't really fit the theme. But first off, great Pro Day. Just for the fact that we were there. Would you know if it was a crappy one? Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. We were there, so it was great. It was interesting to see a lot of that kind of stuff, and just the ability to get coverage on kids. Because find me one reason that Pro Day coverage hurts. You can't. There's not.
No, you know what? Let's explain this. Coach Snyder never allowed media to attend Pro Day for whatever reason, and I find it particularly baffling because these aren't his players anymore. They are his former players, and he's still restricting their access to media. That really bothered me, but Pro Day wasn't worth putting a big stink about. And then they wouldn't share any numbers. They wouldn't really tell anyone anything, and I'm like, maybe he doesn't want people to know that the level of athlete they're actually trying to play with. Mm-hmm. That was kind of my conclusion, and our numbers kind of indicate that, although our own Ryan Wallace is disputing these numbers.
Interesting.
It's hard to, when you got it on video, frame by frame, it's hard to dispute the times.
I've got a piece on the site breaking down all the numbers, except for the one of the 3 shuttle drills they were running. We didn't get to it because they ran 3 at one time, and we were pretty stretched then, so we just didn't get one of the drills in there. All of the bench press numbers, the vert numbers, the broad jump numbers are all 100% recorded accurate. Those are right. the 40-yard dash times are as accurate as we are going to get them. I mean,
yeah. Unless you want to get technical on, I think he moved then, or I want it timed from when his hand left the ground, which it's when you start moving.
Yeah.
The moment you make forward progress to start your 40-yard dash, the time stops. Not when the hand comes up, not when you're 10 yards down the thing, and then it stops when you hit the line.
Yep, those are the start-stop points. And there's no official time. There's no one there officially timing it. Every scout has their own watch. They all do their own thing. I find that strange.
Yeah, I do too.
I would think they would have something electronic hooked up.
These are guys' careers. Like, how do you not have an official time or something?
Yeah, some guy timed Duke Shelley at a 4:04 something. Maybe he had too much coffee this morning and clicked the button late or early on the stop, and he just shaved a second and a half off his time.
Right.
You got him a job.
But, I mean, that aside, I mean, I didn't think the 40 numbers were all that impressive, but
I think they're realistic.
I do too.
I think that's where I disagree with our own Ryan Wallace, is I think they're actually realistic. Guys aren't as fast as people think they are. 4.4s are rare. They really are rare, and they should stand out. I mean, if you're being electronically timed as the NFL prescribes, Dalton Reisner running a 5.3 is cooking for a big guy.
It's fast.
and the times kind of echo that out. Maybe we didn't do it quite right, but it's not going to make even a 1/10 of a second difference in how you guys did it. I watched you do it.
Right.
Frame by frame, you can tell when someone moves, and then when we feel like they cross the line, which is,
within 3 frames.
Yeah, exactly. You can argue 3 frames either way, maybe, but.
And that's 6/10.
Yeah, and then
at max.
Then it tells you exactly what the time was and how long the video. So I feel pretty. I'm a little disgusted by the times too. I thought maybe I could run a 5.4.
Oh yeah.
No.
Duke's not dropping down to a 4.2. Okay, he's just not. But that said, Duke did really well on the other stuff. Duke has like 10 or 12 interviews with NFL teams, so I don't know if he'll get drafted, but I think someone might definitely take a flyer on him.
Absolutely.
Kendall didn't sound super optimistic about, because he said his agents were handling the communications with NFL teams, so I don't think he'll get drafted, but I think he could again get into a training camp somewhere, and
he's got practice squad written on him.
Right, absolutely.
He's kind of a tweener. It's going to have to be the right defense. He's kind of got linebacker speed with safety size.
Yeah, and he mentioned that.
And, but he knows how to play, man. That's what K-State safeties, when they get to the league, they know how to play. They know how to play that combination of run support and pass defense. And so I think he might. My prediction is he's going to stick with someone. Maybe just practice squad, but he'll stick.
And then Barnes and Reisner, they did what they did at the combine. They didn't really do much pro day.
Yeah.
Because of that. Why would you bench again if you had the number 1 running back number at 34 reps?
Yeah, I'm going to sit this out. I'm good with my numbers.
I think Barnes could be I think he could be a 4th, 5th round pick now because of his combine showing. He killed it.
The weird thing about the NFL is running backs is the most overstocked commodity. Running backs are kind of a dime a dozen in the league. You can plug and play a lot of different guys. The really special ones stand out, but other than that, look at the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt was special. They lose him, and they plug and play a couple of the guys that are good. They got it done. But I think he'll get a chance, honestly, because he allows you to combo him into a fullback, even though he doesn't block very well. But they'll get that out of him real quick. So Alex Barnes really helped himself at the combine, and there was no reason to screw that up with a pro day.
So that's a quick pro day rundown. A couple other guys went, but nothing really substantial to talk about. Maybe long snapper gets a shot somewhere. Dalton Harmon.
Yeah, had 10 players in it. 2 of them were snappers.
So
long snappers.
Snappers.
It was.
Are we sure they were long? Because this was the first season that we had long and short snapper on the depth chart.
That's a good point.
I'm like, come on, man. Long, short.
So
I'm the medium snapper. If anyone needs a snap somewhere in between an extra point and a punt, I'm their guy.
Pistol snapper.
Pistol snapper.
Lots of fun. I am excited to go to pro day in the future, and all of the media thousands of media opportunities we have in the next 2 days.
Yeah, so we get this press release from Kansas State, from Ryan Lackey, the football sports information director, outlining all of our media opportunities. Chris Kleiman is on Friday, so you guys will be that. I'm out of town for some family stuff over the weekend. So that first spring football press conference is Friday. And then there's this whole list. You get Courtney Messingham on this day. You get players on this day. You get Scotty Hazelton on this day. You get all the other assistant coaches on this day. And then Chris Kleiman on this day. Guys, I spent more time taking that email and putting all the dates and times and everything into my phone calendar so I don't miss anything. Speaking of which, there's my phone right there. So then maybe I have spent covering spring football outside of going to Bill Snyder press conferences.
We have 11 media opportunities between now and the spring showcase on April 13th. And one of those includes an open practice, which is something I'm so excited about. I'm so excited to get 2 open practices. I'm so excited to go to open practice. So I'm jacked.
What time are those practices?
The one on the 8th is at 4:20 p.m.
Blaze it.
And the one on March 26th is at 11 a.m.
No 6 a.m.
Or excuse me, 4:20 p.m. I was reading the wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple practices we get to go to. Does anyone ask you the questions about the spring showcase?
There's one in the overtime. So yeah.
I just want to say I don't understand what it is. And as a person who really opposes spring games, I still don't get the concept here.
Full disclosure, K-State's still a little unsure of what it is. They were talking about it today, finalizing details, so we'll know more soon.
It sounds more boring than a spring game.
I disagree. I think we'll get into it, but I think it's going to be great.
I'm serious. I know you want to, and it's really important in the first year of a head coach to promote your brand and get it out there, and you want to sell tickets. So I get they want to do something, but don't make this a regular occurrence. Just shut the doors and have a 15th practice. I mean, it sucks for us and what we do because we want that content, but what helps the team more? Some public scrimmage in which you're not really going to show much, a showcase in which fans will be on the field during I don't understand this at all. They'll be mic'd up. You want entertainment, mic me up.
No, don't do that. I would strongly encourage you to not do that.
Play the national anthem and mic me up.
No.
No.
For the record, I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be good to get some
optimist.
insight.
It's going to be terrible. Bill Snyder is going to watch this, and he's going to be like, why didn't I think of this before? This is so boring. This is more boring than the spring game.
I'm not shocked Zach hates it.
Well, he'd get better video out of a game.
That's fair.
I think.
Where am I going to get my Zach Reuter touchdown highlights for the senior video, Riley?
That's fair.
This is very true. Well, that's a big open for a podcast sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Kind of buried the lead there. We're working on this. Is really exciting. We're working on a studio sponsor, and we basically got a deal done. We're going to have our brand new studios here. Will have a name.
Sources say we're in contract negotiations with people.
Yeah.
Wojbomb.
Yeah.
Call it Gates Bomb.
That sounds dirty.
And by Gates Bomb, I mean I walked in the office and Fitz told me, and
sounds
so
like
therefore
something
I
alcoholic.
Sounds
take 2 Gates bombs and 2 slippery nipples.
Sounds like you went to Gates Barbecue in Kansas City and
had
a vodka and barbecue sauce. No, so that's going to be really cool. It's going to be a great strategic alliance with us and another company, local-ish company. It's pretty cool.
They're local.
Yeah, but it's going to be cool. And this segment's brought to you by Tanner. Speaking of cool, when Kansas State gets sent to San Jose, as every bracketology person says, I will see you at Tanner's. These monkeys will be in San Jose.
You going to write the takes from Tanner's?
No, that's the problem. I will write the takes from home and then go to Tanner's.
And just put on Goins.
I think they're going to make up a new tournament site in Guam. And then the Sweet 16 will be in Puerto Rico, and then after that, we'll go to Cape Canaveral and launch off to go to the moon for the Final Four.
Okay, well, that wipes out the Okinawa regional.
It's bad.
Sure, I mean, there's 2 sub-regionals, pod sites within easy driving distance, Des Moines and Tulsa. And if you look at who the bracketology people are putting in there, there's hardly anyone local.
I love you, but I'm just going to let you know right now. in a week or two when the brackets come out, if they get shipped out, I'm going to rub it in your face that I told you so. Just saying.
I told you we have to spend a bunch of money.
That's the exact right thing to do to the guy that's got to book your flights. You're leaving from Kansas City at 4 a.m.
On Delta.
No, on Spirit.
On Spirit.
You have a connection in Detroit.
Spirit.
Another one in Winnipeg.
We don't have passports.
And then
I don't have a passport.
Then you get to San Jose, but the secondary airport that you don't know about, and Uber does not serve. They have no rental cars. Have fun.
It's going to be awful. Can't wait.
Fly us into Oakland.
Well, good. Yeah, the nice thing about San Jose is really there's other airports. Yeah. I mean, San Jose would be great, but there's like 6 airports. I don't know. That's a lie. 3. San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. But there's so many people saying San Jose. I'm convinced it's absolutely not San Jose.
That's fair. It's Hartford.
It's going to be something bad.
We need to go back and look at last year to see how the people did last year, where they ended up.
At least I get to check another state off if it's Hartford. Never been to Connecticut.
Yeah,
if we go there, we're gonna check off all of New England.
We're gonna do a
loop.
Oh, you got to go to Delaware.
I'll ride in the car.
We'll go to Delaware on our way to DC for the Sweet 16.
That wouldn't be bad if you guys got the Eastern swing there and just stayed out there. That wouldn't be the worst.
I think we should get to questions.
No matter what happens, I'm confident. I've got caffeine here, brother. You just calm down over there.
I have it too.
No matter what happens, I am 100% confident that K-State, if they win the Big 12 and do so outright, that Kansas will get a more attractive seating and location.
Absolutely.
And if Kansas loses on Saturday and Iowa State beats Tech, Kansas will get 5th in the Big 12. And still get a better seating and location.
Absolutely. I mean it as a joke and serious. I do believe that will happen.
Okay, well, here we go. We're sponsored by The Fridge and Tanner's. And I tell you what, this podcast will not be about, memories of the streak.
Can't wait.
Jeez, here we go. Questions from Wildcat Station. Here's Zach.
From Wildcat Steve 18, any truth to those rumors that Cardiajada is telling people he expects to be back versus Oklahoma? What percentage chance do you think he plays?
I mean, first off, I haven't heard anything like that. It wouldn't shock me if he was telling people that because, A, of course he wants to be back on the floor to clinch a Big 12 championship. B, if a student asked him on campus, if it's something like that, I don't know where the rumors are coming from. Hey, Cardi, you going to play on Saturday?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll play. Things like that. I don't see him playing. He would have dressed out at TCU if he was going to play against Iowa State, I believe, because that would mean he's healthy enough to go if they needed him against TCU. So I believe he would have been dressed out against TCU. I don't believe he'll play on Saturday. I'd probably put it at like 25-30%.
I'd be surprised if he plays in Kansas City.
Yeah. Why would you? Would you?
It's particularly if you win Saturday, you win the Big 12, who cares about Kansas City?
Thank you.
I think it was Jerry Palm said that if K-State wins the Big 12 title and then wins the conference title in Kansas City, the tournament, they'll get to a 3 seed. Now, that is advantageous to Kansas State to get out of the 4-5 game where you play a 1 in the Sweet 16. That I get. But really, is it worth where I would sit anyone? If Deans or Kamau's having foot problems, I'd sit him in Kansas City.
Did you read the podcast questions thread?
I did not. I have not. So let's shut up and move on.
From Wildcat, what are your thoughts on Austin Trice taking over for Levi Stockard's role in the last few games?
Amen. Hallelujah. Let's bring in the choir now. Yeah.
Deservedly so. He plays with more energy. He looks like he cares more.
I think he's understanding the defensive rotations better. At least that's what it looks like to me. But his energy level has always been extremely high. He's like a bomb exploding on the court, which isn't always good, but Levi just kind of goes out there and is very mechanical. And at times that works okay, but yeah, everything looks kind of like a guy learning to dance. You step over here, you step over there, and there's nothing fluid about it. Austin at times looks a little scattered, but he's trying really hard.
He gets after it.
And his teammates see that.
I like it. I like that Austin Trice is out there, and until he does something awful and Levi comes in for him and he shows like, hey, I can do it too, Don't change it. This is why you brought him here. You brought him here to make an impact for this team, not next year's team, not any other team.
I agree.
From D. Brimmer 73, who do you think is the most improved player for us this year?
I am going to go with a bit of an interesting choice. I'm going to say Kamal Stokes.
That would be my choice.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, and maybe, I don't know, at one point I know that I said, like, I think his turnover numbers are down, and someone said, they're actually up, but that was way earlier in the year. I don't know what they're at now, but he seems to be taking way better care of the ball, first off. He seems to be leading better. He's shooting really well. I tweeted it on Monday. He's playing the best basketball of his career, and someone was like, well, of course he is. He's in the latter part, or the last part of his senior year. I get that, but it's a little bit different with Kamal because we've always just pounded our head against a wall, you know.
Right. That's for me. You can talk about tangibles, his stats, and all that stuff. For me, it's intangibles. When Kamal has the ball, I'm not like, don't do it. Mm-hmm. I know what you're thinking. He's going to shoot it. I'm not in fear of what's going to happen right now. I kind of find comfort at times when Kamal's has a ball in his hands. At times, almost once a game, he does something like, dude, just make the easy pass. I don't know why you're trying to go behind your back. I don't know why you're trying to do that right there. Just, you kind of make the game too hard at times. Sometimes I think Kamal's got more confidence than game, and that's not a good thing. But, man, he hit some big shots. He was 4 of, 11 the other night, TCU. Three of them were three-pointers. The other was a kind of circus put back underneath the basket. But every one of those three-pointers was crucial in the momentum of that game. TCU would kind of make a little push, and boom, he'd hit another one. And he's been doing that all year. Xavier's been pretty good as of late, too. Xavier's improvements have been even more subtle because I think they've been rebounding. This team's better rebounding for one reason. And it was supposed to be Austin Trice, if you remember from recruiting. They needed to go get someone that took rebounding seriously. They found it, and it's Xavier Sneed. He's rebounding extremely well from the 3 spot. It's been really impressive, and he's made everyone else better rebounders because of it. And his defense, next year, he's going to be the defense stopper. He absolutely will be. He'll take over Barry's kind of stopper role if the matchups are right. So either one of those guys or Pearson McAtee. I'm going to take a hard stance on that. Pearson, coming off the bench, has hit his 3-pointers.
Pat Muldoon went from not playing a second to playing a couple seconds.
That's impressive.
We'll set aside the fact that it was because of NCAA transfer rules that he did not play last year.
I'm comfortable with either series of events.
From Wildcat, is Barry Brown tired from playing too many minutes?
Looks like it, doesn't he?
Certainly, but it's really weird because that was what was supposed to happen last year, right? That was like the storyline for 2 or 3 weeks at the end of last year. It's like Barry 40, Dean 40, Cardi 38. Like, these guys were playing stupid minutes with 6 or 7 players on the floor in a game. And you're like, it's going to catch up to him. It's absolutely going to catch up to him. And then they go to the semifinals, the Big 12 tournament. Then they go to the Elite Eight. So, like, it shocks me that he's getting worn down because I feel like if he was going to do it, it was going to be last year. I think that combined with maybe some slight injuries, his knee's hurting him, but I don't know how serious it is, how unserious it is. I think a lot of that is combined, and I also think teams have finally figured it out. You would think it would take or come quicker than 15, 16 games in the season. Teams are finally figuring out, hey, if you guard Barry Brown, you make somebody else have to step up and do it. You make Dean Wade have to play big. So a combination of a lot of those things is really hurting him right now, I think. That's my opinion.
My take is the knees bothered him a little bit. That has affected his ability to explode, whether that is shooting from three-point range or driving to the basket. Because how many times has he made a basket and you're like, I don't know how he got that ball through everyone down there. And I think he's just lost, just a fraction of a step, and now that shot's getting blocked. But I think the actual exhaustion is more mental than physical. He's been guarding at a really high level and doing so much prep work in scouts to be ready to guard that I think he's mentally worn out. This is good. Play Saturday. The regular season's over. You won't play till Thursday of the next week. You don't have a Monday turnaround like you've had. You don't even have a Tuesday or Wednesday turnaround.
That hurts, too.
Yeah, that's been 3 in a row now, back-to-back, and he's trying to prep to stop their best player or a key player every game. So now you get a little bit of rest, and then, no matter what you do in Kansas City, you get the same amount of rest again the next week, and I think they're going to be fine as they go into the tournament.
From Purple Cheese, has Barry Brown played himself out of Player of the Year talk?
Maybe.
It's tough.
Maybe, and it was interesting hearing Coach Fran talk about this on the broadcast last night. I have never watched a blowout from wire to wire like I'd watched Oklahoma just choke out Kansas. It was amazing.
Beautiful.
As you slowly watched Coach Fran Fraschilla start changing his entire Big 12 ballot on the air. Well, I had Lawson as Player of the Year, but if K-State wins outright, I think it's got to be Barry Brown. And if Tech wins outright or in a tie, it's got to, it's like, oh, Coach, I get it. I still stand by this. If K-State would happen to win the Big 12 outright, Tech loses on Saturday, K-State wins, Brown and Weber have to be the two main awards. You don't just end the streak, and a team can't go 14-4 after losing their first two games, and you don't recognize the incredible nature of that, particularly when you've gone through your own injuries this season. I mean, it's not like everything was a charmed season. It has not been a charmed season. Maybe the charm was in the fact that they got Dean Wade back more quickly than we thought, but you're still down a guy. You got two bad feet, a bad knee, and one of your main guys in your rotation is out. And you're going to, in all likelihood, win the conference. Lon, don't screw this up. You did so incredible on Tuesday night. Don't mess this up for everyone.
It's so K-State for K-State to lose to a coach that Bruce Weber never loses to, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of Player of the Year right now, I totally agree.
Is he like 10-3 against him?
Yeah, it's something stupid like
I think
that. He doesn't lose much.
He's either 9-4 or 10-3.
He's lost 2 games to him in Norman.
Last 2 years, right? Before this year?
The last 2 years.
And those were the second meeting of the year, right? K-State won the first meeting each year.
Correct.
I think he's lost 3 times at Norman.
He might have lost 3 times.
Yeah, I think he's lost 3 times at Norman. He's undefeated in Manhattan.
That's it. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
In terms of Big 12 Player of the Year, look, if they win it outright, it has to be Barry. It has to be. It's a crock. Is crock the right word there?
Because it's a crock of shh.
Yeah. Okay. It's a crock if he doesn't win it and K-State wins it outright.
Has anyone ever had a crock of shh sitting around?
No.
I mean, why would you have? I guess in the olden days you would have.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
So I think he has to, if it's a tie with Tech, look, it's really tough to make a case for Barry Brown over Jarrett Culver when Barry's had this dip in production and Jarrett Culver hasn't. He's only improved every single game since KU on February 2nd. He had 10 points and he's improved, and he's played at that level. So it's really tough to make a case against him. And then I'm going to say this, and this is going to really suck. It won't shock me if Dedrick Lawson wins it. It really won't.
Well, people have convinced themselves that he's an All-American.
And he's up for the National Player of the Year right now.
Yeah, and I think it'll say a lot about how KU's perceived inside and outside the conference if he's not Big 12 Player of the Year, but he's an All-American.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a really talented player. He's a next-level guy. If I had an NBA franchise, I would not hesitate to pick him because he's got an NBA game. He's a casual scorer, never plays too hard, but he'll step out and hit a three-pointer for you and put a nice move on against lackadaisical defense. If you feed him the ball enough and he takes enough shots, he's going to have 18 and 12, and 3 of the rebounds will be his own putbacks. Yeah, he's a stat stuffer because he's putting a lot of effort into his stats. Mm-hmm. I think he's a really good basketball player. But the Player of the Year for me is the most impactful player in the league. And to say that Kansas having their streak broken, it's not just the best player then. It's how did this transpire? How did this take place? Who was most responsible, other than Adidas and the FBI, for breaking the streak? And when you talk players, it's Culver and Barry Brown.
If stats were all that mattered and winning didn't at least factor into it some, Trae Young should have been Player of the Year last year, not Devontae Graham.
Right.
But there's a reason that he was, and it was the right choice.
That's a perfect point. This is the flip of that. Just because you got great numbers, but your team isn't achieving, yes, Riley, yes.
Every now and then I say some smart things.
Back to Zach.
From Wildcat Tad 2, if we win Saturday, do you think we should rest our guys during the Big 12 tournament?
No, but I wouldn't. If someone is hurting, do it.
if they're hurting to the point where they could really re-injure themselves, yes. But look, I'm going to sit here and make a case and say, hey, the Big 12 tournament doesn't matter. Conference tournaments don't really matter. But at the same time, they're nice, right? You like to get that extra trophy. You like to get the automatic bid. You like to have the bragging rights, say, hey, we won in the regular season and the conference. I would absolutely love to see K-State go balls to the wall, try to win the conference tournament. So I don't think you should sit him, but I also don't. I also think if you got Barry Brown and he's like, I'm hurting, coach. I got this and that. Don't risk it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I mean, be one and done in Kansas City, get more rest. But if they're all good to go, I would not play Cartier-Jada. I just wouldn't.
That's stupid.
He's got a broken bone. It needs more healing time. You can't rush healing a broken bone. That's what I don't get. He's making great progress. It's a broken bone. It's not like he can rehab it faster.
Can drink a lot of milk.
I guess.
Unfortunately for a team like K-State, this is what sucks. If you lose on Thursday, that hurts you. I mean, that'll take you from a 4 to a 6.
Good.
I'd rather be on the 6 line, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what people don't get that. The 4-5 line sucks. That's not a good place to be because you're going to turn around in that second round and you're going to play a 4 or 5. You're going to play the opposite one.
Right.
And then, you win that. You go to a Sweet 16 site and get it in 1.
It's just not like your KU where it's like, are we going to be the overall number 1 seed or are we going to be the fourth number 1 seed or are we going to be a low 1 seed or a high 2 seed? It's pretty drastic if K-State loses at some point.
Yeah, get to that 6 line where you play a 3, not much difference in a 4, and then you got a 2 in the Sweet 16. I like that.
Yeah.
From Canelio, Saturday's game, the biggest in Bramlage history. We win, we hang a championship banner.
That's a great question.
It's tough. I've been debating this for a while.
No.
It's got to be the ending the KU streak, right?
KU 08.
Yeah, that's huge, but I might go yes because we'll know if Tech loses to Iowa State and you could win the outright conference title emphatically on your home court.
Fair. I think in terms of impactful game, in and of itself, I would say the KU game in 08 because that was a big game no matter what.
It meant more to the building itself. They had never won in the building. That's why it was more important.
And I hate to play this card because it sounds like I'm faulting K-State for losing 4 Big 12 games this year. If you'd have beaten Texas earlier this year, you'd have clinched it earlier. So
it's true.
Or Iowa State.
Right. I mean,
that's true. Plus, let's put this on the table. It's Oklahoma, man.
Yeah, it's not a good Oklahoma.
They just played out of their minds, but that was at home, and everyone in the Big 12 can play out of their minds on some night. If it's Tech, if you're literally going head-to-head for the title, yeah.
I would probably give you that.
Yeah. Or even if it's a better team than Oklahoma. What I don't like about this is Oklahoma has that gear. We just saw that gear. And God help us all if they bring that gear to Manhattan on Saturday.
It's a top 3 game, though, I think, in the history. I'd give it that.
From Purple Cheese, if we share the title with Tech, does that take away from it at all?
I don't give a crap.
No, I don't care.
I think I said this in the last podcast. I get the arguments that when you shared it with KU, you'd win 0-3 with them. You were the secondary champion there. I mean, come on. You lost the head-to-heads.
Right.
They should have been the title. Just like the year they shared it with Texas, and Texas had won the only game between the two, Texas should have been. This shared title crap is bogus. They will have split the regular season games, so it really is a tie in my mind. And now for seeding purposes, you go down the chart of the places, and then they split with Kansas, they split with Baylor. It's the Iowa State game that jumps out then. It's a Baylor game.
Yeah,
Baylor. They split with Iowa State, and K-State swept Baylor, and Tech split with them. So K-State would be the 1 seed. So you can make an argument that they're the 1 seed, you're the 1. You won the tiebreaker. But no, I have no problem with it. I'm more than happy to share a Big 12 title with anyone other than Kansas.
And even then, I mean, yeah, you don't want to share with KU, especially if it would have extended.
Because you don't exist. You don't share it with KU. ESPN never talks about the shared titles. They literally make it sound like every title KU won it outright.
Mm-hmm. And I just think in general, though, focus on K-State winning a Big 12 championship. If it's Baylor, if it's KU, if it's Oklahoma State, whoever it is, you win your conference championship. K-State fans don't walk around going, we shared with KU. No. We won the Big 12 in 2013. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. So, I agree. It would have taken away from it if KU had been in a share. But and also, Texas Tech is a really good team, and you got to respect the hell out of Chris Beard. He's done a phenomenal job this year, and there's nothing wrong with sharing with Texas Tech.
He's a perfect example for Kansas State to follow next year. They were picked 7th. They had lost almost everything.
And they lost their best recruit.
Yeah. And off they go. They go out and get a grad transfer here and a player there and piece together this roster. It's exactly the template that Bruce Weber and his staff need to follow, because next year is going to be rebuilding time. And for the third time in 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is, that's a lot of rebuilding. That's a lot of in and out on the roster, because they, bluntly put, they miss on a lot of kids. They bring in a lot of kids that they clearly find out they can't play at this level and move them on. They re-recruit. They're going to be doing a lot of that, and that's fine. That's the game now. But it's going to get very interesting. But you get a lot more rope to play with when you got a Big 12 ring on your finger that says you're the champion.
From Wildcat Will 41, last question of the first half. Relief, added motivation, or pressure for our players to know the outcome of the Texas Tech-Iowa State game?
I mean, I think you got to say pressure and added motivation are kind of the same thing in that.
Well, I think it depends on the result.
Yeah,
right.
Let's take it that way. Okay, Tech wins. I think it's pressure.
Pressure.
Yes.
I think it takes pressure off if Tech loses, because you know you can lose, and they might actually go out and lose.
That's exactly what I was getting at there.
It reminds me of their preparations for Kansas. They said after the game, well, we knew we had a game lead to play with. Oh, so it was clear to me they were admitting, well, we knew we could lose this game, so we didn't put a lot into it, and which really bothered me. I don't know if they intended it to sound that way, but it sure felt that way to me. It makes me worry about the psyche of this team. That would be a game they'd lose. But then again, it's Oklahoma, man. You've been beating Oklahoma when you're asleep.
But this is a K-State team that, like, for the first time in any team I've ever covered or interviewed or anything, I believe them when they say, we don't really care. We don't care what anybody else did. We don't really care about the other results. Like, I would be shocked if the TV was on in the locker room on Saturday.
Oh, I don't think it will be.
I would be shocked if their phones were in their possession.
Yeah, they'll know. I mean, they'll be
focused, locked in, ready to go.
I'll be interested to hear from you guys if they announce the scores.
Not great history with doing that now, is there?
No. Well, we'll see. I agree with you. Generally, this has been a mentally tough team. You don't go 7-2 on the road in this conference with the 6 of the 7 wins right in the middle without being a mentally tough team. So they need to take that kind of psyche that they bring into the road games and bring it home, and just go about your business, play hard, go get some wins. Man, this is it. This is amazing. And when we found out this wedding was on the state, I'm like, oh, there'll be nothing going on. This should be the last home game. It'll be before. I don't want to miss Kansas City. Wrong. Oh, believe me, I'll let them know. Sorry. The worst part is tip-off for the wedding is 5 p.m. Central. We'll be right back on the Powercat Podcast.
The Powercat Podcast continues shortly.
I'm trying to get a group text in on what everybody wants on the liquor store run, but my phone keeps autocorrecting liquor store to the fridge.
A fridge or the fridge?
The fridge. It just did it again.
Well, the fridge is more than just a liquor store. The fridge has over 3,000 wines in stock, the area's largest selection of spirits and craft beers. Plus, they're back-to-back winners of Beverage Dynamics Retailer of the Year.
Oh, I get it. Wow. Smartphone.
Autocorrect your next liquor store visit to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, 1150 Westport in Manhattan. Online at fridgeliquor.com.
For more than 20 years, there's only been one reliable source for exclusive and unmatched premium K-State sports news content. It's GoPowercat.com. The tradition continues as Tim Fitzgerald, D. Scott Fritchen, and the other GoPowercat sports experts continue their relentless coverage of K-State sports. So make sure you're subscribing to the one and only GoPowercat. Hey, K-State fans, it's time to come home to GoPowercat.com. We now return to the Powercat Podcast.
We're back on the Powercat Podcast. We wrestled with some big questions there in the break. Number one being Zach's hungry.
I'm so hungry.
And he gets hangry. I mean, he really does. Right now, he looks like Betty White.
He's not him when he's hungry.
Yeah.
Or like a little girl.
I ate
Pigtails.
mozzarella sticks for lunch.
Yeah, it's good being Catholic. I ate meat. Good Protestant dead cow.
Processed at Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, we're back. We're back, and we just had a very long first segment. We had a lot to talk about. We're sponsored by The Fridge. If you haven't been to The Fridge lately, get to The Fridge. Go on in and get yourself some delicious booze. That's what they do at The Fridge.
As opposed to non-delicious ones?
Believe me, there's those things out there.
Do they sell Sambuca?
They do sell Sambuca. I have
Why
not
is that
had
a thing?
Sambuca?
Yeah.
It's delicious.
It's not.
It's horrible.
It's a 21st birthday drink, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
That's what he
I'm
does.
drinking with Fitz at Wahoo drink, and he thought it'd be funny to get one of those when I came back from the bathroom drink.
I got you something.
You know, Sambuca is my, hey, let's do bad things drink. You know, it's like, let's just
We're going to be bad.
Let's go ahead and have a Sambuca here, and we might tip over a VW bug in front of in Aggieville. It would cause a riot. That's my drink. But if it's your 21st birthday, this is what you're getting. What is it? It tastes like black licorice, but it really is good. That's awful, man.
It's
disgusting.
Awful. It is disgusting.
I think my goal now is if you're having a 21st birthday, I want to discourage you from drinking. Here's some Sambuca.
We'll never drink again.
Yeah. Have 3 of these and tell me how you do in the next morning.
Oof. Woof.
Yeah, Sambuca is. You can get that. If you don't know what Sambuca is, it's an Italian liqueur. You better chill it. You don't typically chill Sambuca like it's a dessert drink in many parts of the world. You have a little coffee, maybe a little Sambuca in it, or sip on some Sambuca with 3 beans floating in it. Very strange.
Why 3?
I don't know. Good luck, fortune, and lottery numbers. I don't know what the 3 beans represent. Anyhow, the segment is sponsored by the High-Low. Stop into the High-Low.
Do you think they have Sambuca at the High-Low?
I guarantee you Seth Stone has Sambuca. Seth, if you don't have Sambuca, we're going to have to talk.
You can talk with Fitz. I'm not going to be that upset.
Yeah, that's probably true. I can get my Sambucas elsewhere. That's your punishment. Oh, that's why you didn't have Sambuca. Oh.
Are you really supposed to be saying that you won't go to our sponsor?
He's not stocking it to get rid of me. That's
very.
brilliant.
I would say it's a good idea. It'll work.
But the problem is now mac and cheese pizza is now my Sambuca of food. Like I shouldn't do this. I'm going to regret it tomorrow. I'll take a slice of mac and cheese pizza. The difference being Sambuca tastes like crap and mac and cheese pizza is delicious.
Can that be like Aggieville's thing? Mac and cheese on things?
That's actually a really good idea.
I would.
Like, I feel like that should be Manhattan and Aggieville's thing.
I would market that.
Mac and cheese things.
Like, why doesn't someone have a mac and cheese burger?
Right. So long. There you go.
I don't think anyone has a mac and cheese burger.
No?
Okay, maybe I just had it somewhere else.
Lucha, mac and cheese taco. There you go.
I've made my own mac and cheese burger.
Same kitchen.
That's actually brilliant. Mac and cheese with some chicken, mac and cheese taco. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds awful, but Lucha does a a lot of awful things.
Yeah, Lucha will put stuff together, and you're like, oh, and then, oh.
I've stuffed a burger with mac and cheese before.
That's pretty.
It's delicious.
Awesome. I can never get the middle done, so that's fine. That'd be perfect for me.
Yeah.
Here we go. Questions from Wabash Station. Here's Zach.
From the dot 2, since KU lost last night.
They did?
What are the odds Iowa State beats Tech, allowing the Cats to win outright?
Now we go to Riley Gates with the score update as in progress from Morgantown.
Dun, 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 dun.
That was awesome. Well, things aren't going well for the Fighting Steve Promes as at the half, West Virginia, the Big 12 doormat Mountaineers, have a 21-point lead on the Cyclones.
And they've scored how many points in one half?
54.
That's a damn good game for Bob Huggins' team, and they've done it in one half.
Yeah.
Back to the podcast.
Mario Shyok is not playing.
Yeah, so they don't play defense at all, apparently.
Well, yeah, that too. and he's the Big 12's leading scorer, so not great. And it sounds like he's very questionable for Saturday. Not great. Not great. You're going to need that Hilton Magic. That has not been magic this year.
Yeah.
You know what? Iowa State basketball needs to be sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. Because if you need help learning how to fold up your tent, the Cyclones will do it for you.
Wow.
They're just shut it down, man. I don't see any way they beat Tech. Early in the season, I'm like, ooh, that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Iowa State's done.
Man, what game did they lose right after K-State? Dang it, I'm blanking now. Whatever game that was.
Is it Baylor?
Oklahoma State.
Yes, because Baylor came
Baylor
came into Ames and won, and it was like they beat K-State, and they're like, "Yo, we're in the picture. Like, let's do this. Let's go." And then Baylor won. They're like, "Yeah,
Like, we're in the picture."
they're like, "We're done." That's what it was. That's Iowa State.
It's unbelievable. I wonder if Fred Hoiberg's phone is ringing.
Yeah, UCLA
Wasn't he
probably
on the
called him.
broadcast?
Yeah, he was on the broadcast.
was?
Yeah, he was on the Baylor broadcast. Yeah, they had him on there.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I was like, Fred?
It was really annoying. They sat him down in the middle and they just talked and talked and talked and talked. There's like a basketball game going on.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, I don't think he's.
Wasn't there a K-State game they did something like that for? What was that?
Yeah, it was the West Virginia game.
Yeah, because Javon Carter was
That's
back.
right. Okay, yeah. And then K-State went on a miraculous run while he was on the air.
Yes, indeed.
From Raistlin 1982. I think that's new. I don't think I've ever said that before on the
I think I've
podcast.
said wrestling before.
Is it Wrastlin?
I don't know. I might have mispronounced
It's not.
it.
I don't know.
He's been around for a while.
I know he's
don't
been
know if
around.
We've done a lot of podcasts.
Hey, it's a podcast. Does it seem like we are getting lowballed by the prognosticators with regards to our seed in the NCAA tournament?
No.
No, I mean, you can't excuse a non-conference. I mean, it's
Yeah.
part of the resume.
Georgia
No.
State was the best game.
Yeah,
That was the best one.
The best game you won.
And we're not just like, that's not just our opinion. We went through the non-conference schedule and we looked. That's the only team of the mid-majors that's at the top of their conference that has a really good overall record. And even then, you're still
What quadrant does that win
I'd
fall
have to
in?
look it up. I don't have it off the
You know,
top of my head.
that's the other side of this, the other argument. As it's turned out, the other losses aren't, in terms of quadrants, aren't bad as you
No.
fear.
They're just
They're
bad
just
losses.
bad. A&M and Tulsa are bad, but they're second quadrant or something because they're on the road. And
The quad, I remember last year someone made a case on Selection Sunday. They were like, look, just because it's a quad 1 or a quad 2 loss, yeah, it's fancy to say, but like, that doesn't mean that much because a team could sneak their way into the quad 1 or quad 2 and be just awful.
yeah,
Tulsa and A&M aren't going to the tournament.
No.
Are they? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
So,
There's a chance, but
I mean, yeah, if they win the tournament. So, look, if K-State's a 4 seed, I think you should be very happy. If they're a 3 seed, you should be overjoyed. If they're a 5 seed, meh. And if they're a 6, you're kind of like, well, that's disappointing. But
Oh, play the chip on your shoulder then.
Yeah.
We get disrespected. Look, if K-State wins the conference, share it or not, they should be at least a 4 or 5, probably a 4. And they should have an advantageous pod location, Des Moines or Tulsa. I really am adamant about this. If you win the Big 12 title, as Kansas has done repeatedly, you should get advantages in your seating and location of games. You don't get shipped. You shouldn't get shipped out when you have 2 pod sites, 2 of the sub-regional sites in your backyard. You just shouldn't if you're a conference champion of a Power 5 conference, Power 6 in basketball, I guess. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm more worried about location than seed. As I alluded to earlier, I wish they were a 6 seed, not on the 4 or 5 line. Mathematically, for me, that just works better. It puts you into a better chance, a better avenue to the Elite 8. And then by the time you get to that round, maybe you will be playing a Loyola Chicago type team that you can beat. Yeah, sorry I brought that up. But there's a chance in at that point. It's not going to be a 1 seed. Maybe the 4 or 5 will make it through, and you're the favorite. So I don't know. I feel okay about it. I'm not crazy about being a 4 or 5 seed. I'm just fearful then it's going to. You don't get as good of locations as a 4 or 5 seed because if you're a 3 seed, you're probably going to get a good pod. You're going to drive you're going to be the locator of that pod because you're the highest seed. Maybe if you're 4, but I don't know. It's complicated, but these guys are going to love San Jose in March. They're going to love it.
From Prairie Cat, is the NCAA committee putting too much emphasis on net rankings and non-conference games?
No,
it's a complete resume.
First off, the net ranking is balancing itself out. Like
it really
we all
does.
knew it was. I told you guys to calm down.
It was really bad early.
It was.
But
it was
you're
absolutely awful. I told everybody, though, like, of course those bad teams are going to be at the top. They're playing the top teams in the country, and they're not getting blown out of the water. It's going to be
You need more data points.
Yeah, you definitely need more data points early. But, hey, that's a problem, and maybe they'll fix that. But the net is actually a good system, I believe. I'm looking at it here. You got Gonzaga, Virginia, Duke, Tennessee, Kentucky. I mean, it's how the polls are.
Well, I mean, what I was saying is the net is always going to look bad when it doesn't matter. By the time it matters, it'll look just fine.
Yeah,
Don't freak out about it.
And to the second half of the question, are they putting too much emphasis in non-con schedule? Well, exactly what Fitz said. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, look, K-State's going to win the Big 12, hopefully, and KU's not. All right, that's a fact. KU's not going to win the Big 12. K-State is going to have a higher seed in Kansas City. K-State might have a deeper run in Kansas City. But it's tough to argue that KU deserves to be lower than K-State in the seedings. You want to know why? Because they played Michigan State, Tennessee, they beat Marquette, they beat Villanova, they played Arizona State, who was ranked really high early, and they lost that game. So, I mean, that counts against them. But say what you want about how bad KU's been on the road, how they didn't win the Big 12 this year, and K-State deserves to be higher. KU went out and played a schedule. And I think it's pretty telling that K-State beefed it up this year on their non-con schedule, and it was still bad.
Well, it was a schedule. KU played a schedule built for the RPI. Because RPI days, you played Arizona State. They were good. You lost. Who cares? Hey, credit to you.
Right.
It's changed under the net. So KU didn't play as advantageous a schedule. The net's going to affect schedules. You don't need to do what KU did. And that's a lot of great basketball games for the networks.
But that's why they'll be a 4 seed.
Right. But, yeah, they're going to get a lot of credit for it. Because back earlier in the year, they were very good. And then, things happened, and they haven't adjusted to that. They had to start playing different McDonald's All-Americans than the one they preferred. They had to settle on Mitch Lightfoot having a breakthrough year, a guy that's had a higher recruiting ranking than anyone on K-State's roster.
Number 1 player in Arizona. Look, I'm not telling Bruce that he needs to go out and schedule like KU did this year.
No.
But what I'm saying is, like, okay, you added the home and home or whatever it is with Marquette last year. That's great. Well, guess what? The Big 12 then added the Big 12 Big East Challenge.
So you're just going to
roll that into it? No. Take that and then add another one.
Right. That's a conference you should be playing.
Yeah.
Go play freaking DeBall home and home. Go play in Chicago. If you're going to wander in there and recruit, go do it, man.
Citing the Big 12 SEC Challenge, citing the Big 12 Big East Challenge doesn't count for non-con games. I mean, yes, it counts. It doesn't count for scheduling your non-con games because you are forced to play that game.
Right.
And I don't think they would if they weren't forced.
Yeah, I'll be fascinated to see what happens with K-State's non-con schedule next year as they go into rebuilding mode. And maybe we can get the Wichita State series now that Greg Marshall grow a set when his team will be a little bit better because he got his bluff called, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, but let's get that going.
From Chris66204, and apparently he says that the first 6 is silent. I don't know what that means.
I don't know if he means it or if he was making a joke about last week, but I died. That was very funny.
Or is he trying to make a pun on Chris and 6 sounding similar? Like
no,
Chris,
all the
Chris 6204?
Everybody was like, oh, my letter is a silent letter in my name.
I didn't see that. I just know the Canelio.
There was
the Canelio thing.
I think he's playing on that. That was very funny.
I think he's trying to make a pun.
I don't think so.
We'll find out next week.
I think Chris was having fun with it, and I applaud him.
Chris, maybe your
I feel like
screen name should be The 6 is Silent.
We're going to have a new screen name next week.
Yeah, just email Fitz. He'll take care of it. What will it take for K-State to get a higher NCAA tourney seed than KU?
Win on Saturday and win the Big 12.
Yeah.
They'll be a 3 if that happens.
Yeah.
And KU, I don't believe, will be a 3.
No.
They shouldn't be a 3.
You would essentially steal where everyone thought KU would be.
Yeah.
And you'll be a 3 in Tulsa or Des Moines.
And if they don't do that and they're lower than KU, like the case I just made, I think I'd be okay with it.
I'd be upset if you had swept KU.
Yeah.
But you beat them at home and laid down in their place, and it looked awful. That's more recent, too.
From Thundercat. If we sweep the last 4 games and get Big 12 regular season title, Big 12 tourney title, and end up 27-7, do we earn a 3 seed? Don't like the 4-5 area that we are currently projected.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I just said.
I agree, Thunder, 100%. You either want to be the 3 or 6. It's the same bracket.
Yeah.
The 3 plays the 6 in the second round. So you want to be one of those two, because then if you make Sweet 16, you play the 2 and you avoid the 1.
I would be fascinated, and maybe I'll look into it. I want to know how many of the Final Four teams the last, however many years, how many came out of that bottom half of the bracket, how many came out of the top half. Because we're sitting here saying that, but my gut tells me that more 2s and 3s make the Final Four than 1s and 4s and 5s. But I could be wrong.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I might have to look into that.
From Twistwell, which I think is new. Welcome.
Yes, he said he wants a new screen name, so I think he's going to email you.
Yeah, get on it. We'll pick out something fun.
I think Twistwell's pretty fun.
Twistwell.
Maybe it's just
Add a T?
maybe it's just his last name. I don't know.
I don't know. Would you rather have a higher seed or play opening round in Tulsa, like a 3 in California versus a 6 in Tulsa?
That's a really good question.
I can't. That's impossible for me. I can't separate.
What are the teams?
My business interests here.
Right.
Tulsa.
Money's no object.
Yeah. Tulsa's it's better for the company because our travel costs are contained, and it's better for you as a subscriber because you'll get more coverage because we'll have more guys there. So that's intriguing. I don't think there's a difference between 3, 6, 4, 5. I really don't. Because I saw projections early on that Houston was going to be a 3, K-State would be the 6, that'd be the second round matchup. And I'm like, I know Houston's good, but I also think that's a team K-State can beat. So,
I mean, as a fan, I think you'd rather see your team higher.
Right. It's easier to brag on Selection Sunday.
And if you want to go recency bias, K-State did not play well when they were at home last time. They were in Kansas City and lost to LaSalle. I know it was a freak game. I know, excuse me, I know that they were off. They should have won that game. But the last time when they were in Kansas City, they did not do well. That's all I'm saying. So no. I really don't think that Tulsa and Des Moines mean as much as and we're guilty of it. I don't think being close to home matters all that much because every fan can buy tickets for their team. Some fans lose and they leave. Some fans cheer for other teams, like Oklahoma City that one year. And it's honestly luck of the draw. I mean,
it's
Virginia,
so much more accessible. Des Moines fans in Kansas City can make the drive. A couple hours, you're there, right?
Virginia played in their backyard last year, man, and they lost.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but it can hurt your psyche. You kind of, though, as good as this team's been on the road in conference play, gotta always add that. I think they'll be almost better off if they get shipped somewhere and it's them against the world. But that's what happened last year. I don't know. I just would love to have them available for fans to go see in the postseason.
Yeah,
it's a fun experience.
You deserve to see this team in the NCAA.
Especially if they get the Midwest bracket and their step from Tulsa or Des Moines is Kansas City. That's fun. That's fun to know that you're in the same setting that KU's in almost every year. The easy road in terms of having fan support at your games.
I can't believe I'm reading this on a podcast. Infected testicle.
We've done this before.
Have we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we changed it.
No.
We're allowing this.
That was something else. That was total as clown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
We've done infected testicle.
I don't remember
before.
I'm shocked probably every time I'll see it now. Is it more important for K-State to win the Big 12 or make a deep run in the NCAA tournament?
Deep run in the NCAA tournament.
Deep run in the NCAA tournament. But they both. It just adds to it. I mean, if you win the Big 12 and make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, you got the program running.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, last year, we can all recognize that the Elite Eight run was kind of flukish. I mean, they caught a break, and I'm not excusing it. People catch breaks at the tournament all the time. I was damn happy it was the team I cover for once instead of the team I hate. So, they took advantage of it, and credit to them. But I think we all know that team struggled at times last year and then found themselves, ironically, without who was their best player at the time, which is the most hard thing to explain. I think they learned a lot from that, the level at which they need to play energy-wise, and I think they'll bring that back to the table this season. So if you win the Big 12 and make an Elite Eight run, a Sweet 16 run even, I think you've got a pretty good head of steam with your program, and you might make a strong argument for a late player you want to add to your class that's going to help you, or, a 4-year grad transfer that might be able to come in and be plug and play at a spot you really need.
Did K-State win the Big 12 in 2010? No. And yet, some of your fondest memories are Jacob Pullen hitting a big shot against Xavier and coming so close to beating Butler and going to the Final Four. I mean, the conference championship is nice, but at the end of the day, it's icing on the cake. And for all the years that you made fun of KU for losing to UNI and Bucknell and all these people, they won the Big 12 that year, but nobody was like, oh, hey, well, we lost to Bucknell, but we won the Big 12, whatever. The Big 12 is not as important as a deep run.
Last question of the second half from Canelio. Be honest, is this team a serious player to make the Final Four?
I don't really. No, serious player, two different things.
Yes.
Can they? Yeah.
Would I pick them?
No. No, but if I get... it's hard to answer. It's a microphone. It's attached to front of your face. When you get the bracket, you'll have a better idea. But then again, what happened in the bracket last year in K-State's regional was unheard of. I mean, K-State was a 9, and Loyola Chicago was
11. Yeah, they beat the 6.
I mean, no one in the upper half of the bracket made it to the Elite Eight. That's incredible. I don't know.
That might have been the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, it's hard to pick that out. They have the leadership and ability to defend to get themselves there. Guard play is so important in the tournament.
They're a team that I won't be shocked at all if we're in Minneapolis covering them in the Final Four, and I also won't be shocked if we're home on the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a dog.
So much of it's chance of who you catch. If K-State catches a team that can just absolutely chuck it from 3-point range, but only be good at it every third game, and that's the third game, then you go through the Iowa State thing.
Yeah. We didn't expect K-State to put up little effort against KU, but KU smacked them in the mouth, and they just kind of fell. I mean, if that happens, you just don't. The NCAA tournament is so chance, man.
No, it's unbelievable. That's what's so incredible about it is rarely does a team like Loyola Chicago make it all the way to the Final Four. Usually those things get filtered out. Unfortunately, K-State didn't filter it out. And usually the Final Four then is pretty representative of the better teams because you survived 4 rounds. But, man, it can be chaos. It's just beautiful chaos, and that's what makes the event so incredible. Can K-State make it to the Final Four? Yeah. But do they look like a team that belongs in the Final Four? No. They just don't have that dude. They just don't have that. You had a Michael Beasley with this group? Yeah. I'm just amazed at what Bruce Weber's done with the level of guys he was able to bring in and how they've elevated now to be the type of players. Barry Brown is one of the most dramatic upgrades in talent I've ever seen.
That goes on his resume. On Bruce Weber's coaching resume, Barry Brown belongs at the top.
It's absolutely incredible. Barry was 2 steps behind Jacob Pullen when he came in as a freshman in terms of talent and has played his way up, maybe equal to Jake. I want you to wrap your mind around what I just said, maybe equal to Jake Pullen. And it's incredible. That's as much credit to Barry as anyone. He's been dogged about his commitment to getting better. And he's carried the program up with him, and it's been impressive to watch. So we'll see. We'll see what it takes him. Well, I'm really excited for Selection Sunday. I'll just be fascinated to see where they end up, and I'll be fascinated to see how the next 4 games go, if it's 4. The next game plus Kansas City, let's put it that way. What's this team going to do? Because they haven't done it much this year, but Bruce Weber teams lose their concentration once in a while. They did it at Kansas. They clearly did it at Tulsa and A&M. They just cannot do it again the rest of the year. They can't. I think they did it against Loyola Chicago. They cannot lose their concentration. Because when they concentrate, when they're locked in and they play hard, we all might be going to Minneapolis. But we'll see. A lot of basketball to be played. A little bit more of the Powercat Podcast on the other side of this break. We are sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor and our friends at the High Low.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat Podcast.
I'm trying to get a group text in on what everybody wants on the liquor store run, but my phone keeps autocorrecting liquor store to the fridge.
A fridge or the fridge?
The fridge. It just did it again.
Well, the fridge is more than just a liquor store. The fridge has over 3,000 wines in stock, the area's largest selection of spirits and craft beers. Plus, they're back-to-back winners of Beverage Dynamics Retailer of the Year.
Oh, I get it. Wow, smartphone.
Autocorrect your next liquor store visit to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, 1150 Westport in Manhattan. Online at fridgeliquor.com.
For more than 20 years, there's only been one reliable source for exclusive and unmatched premium K-State sports news content. It's GoPowercat.com. The tradition continues as Tim Fitzgerald, D. Scott Fritchen, and the other Go Powercat sports experts continue their relentless coverage of K-State sports. So make sure you're subscribing to the one and only Go Powercat. Hey, K-State fans, it's time to come home to GoPowercat.com. Back to Fitz on the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
And we're back with the Powercat Podcast. First half's gone, second half's gone. They're long, enjoyable.
The game's over, right? First half's gone, second half's gone.
No,
game's
it's like Oklahoma State at West Virginia, going to overtime.
We have 3 overtimes.
No, we're not doing that. No.
Wait, was that game?
Yeah.
Or was that a different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
West Virginia's feeling good about itself.
It's
apparently.
late in the year, man. All these
Hey,
games are
let's
running
get
together.
over the live score update brought to you by our friends on the board named Infected Testicle.
Wow.
But keep in mind, by the time this podcast is on the
it's
site,
the NFL draft. I don't know what the NBA draft is.
this score is going to be complete. But
Nobody
right.
watches the NBA draft.
West Virginia is leading Iowa State 69-55 with 12:46 to play in the game. So the Clones are coming back. They're chipping away, but West Virginia still maintain that lead. Iowa State scored 22 points this half.
Could you repeat that score for me?
Now it's 71-55.
Oh, that ruins the whole joke.
But
Never
it was
mind.
69-55.
Nice.
Lowercase n, period at the end. Nice.
Okay. We're sponsored
very
by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, and we don't have a segment sponsor here. We will. We just don't right now. It's kind of depressing.
We could offer it right now. We can have a bid on Wabash. Have people bid for it. For their
Somebody
message.
actually did ask that last week.
What?
If they could bid for the overtime sponsor and talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Oh, that'd be kind of funny. Yeah. If you want to do that, if you want to pay me money to have like 30 seconds to talk about something,
We will take all of your money and then read whatever you want us to read. As long as it is
within
appropriate.
reason.
As long as it is appropriate.
Yeah, that includes you, Infected Testicle. I can't believe we
We
allowed.
let his name on here, so
Yeah,
like,
that's
I can't.
it's Jonah Hill.
I don't.
No, cut it out.
I mean, it's a medical problem. I mean, I guess I could go by the name prostate cancer.
Yeah, but we could also treat it. You can treat an infected testicle.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be infected all the time.
Now, is it the actual testicle, or is it like a hair that's infected?
it's the overtime.
I just
Okay, here we go. Here's your questions from Wabash Station, and of course, stop in and see our friends at the Fridge when you're in Manhattan.
From Exhausted Nihilist, I would like to hear the staff's thoughts about the spring showcase in lieu of a spring game.
Well, we
Thanks.
stepped on that question.
Hey, I got more to say. I'm wondering if this is how I envision the spring showcase. Like it'll actually be a game show. And fans get to pick door 1, door 2, or door 3, and we'll get to see offense, defense, or special teams.
Oh, God. No. But I actually, okay, look, hear me out. It's going to be cool because you get tired of watching third stringers hit each other running the same halfback dive up the right, halfback dive up the left, play action over the middle.
But we don't know that's what Chris Kleiman's going to do. Maybe he'd run actual plays.
What I'm saying, no, he wouldn't. What I'm saying here is that Chris Kleiman, for you football fans out there that are like, man, I really love football, but I don't know so much, schematics. I don't know cover 3. I don't know this and that. If they have him mic'd up and he's talking about the game like this press release reads he's going to be, you're going to get a little bit of insight. It's not going to get tons of stuff. You're not going to learn football in a day. But you're going to get a better idea of, like, why is this person doing this? What does that look like?
It's only going to be good for me if he's on the mic and he says, okay, this is this play. This is the alignment. And if we put our tight end right here and our fullback here and the receiver there, we're running this play every time. Okay? I want all the opponents to know we're going to run this play if we're in this formation. Stop it, bitches, and just drop a mic.
I can see him doing it. If there's a man to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I want more information. I want to understand the showcase better.
I'm not going to whine about it because we've been dogging the spring game for 4 or 5 years now.
Like I said earlier in the show here, I'm fine with getting rid of a spring game. I'm fine, even though we like to have the content of not having a game and just go have your 15th practice and let us know how it went.
And let the media in.
I mean, the only thing that I would like, it would be like contests, like who can kick the longest field goal, or like passing or jugs machine. Like do something like that. Maybe they will. I would complain less if that's what it was. If it was a showcase of your talent.
Best, like have a passing game, some kind of passing contest for the quarterbacks and then the non-quarterbacks.
Well, we saw
field goal kicking contests amongst the kickers and then the non-kickers.
I know he's not on the team anymore, but we saw Colby Moore's arm today, and the dude can sling it. So I have a feeling there's some guys on the team that can throw the ball.
Well, yeah, when all your defense played quarterback in high school, like
that's going to be a lot of that going on.
He's throwing the routes.
I don't understand the spring showcase, but I hope there's a Ferris wheel and the Goo Goo Dolls.
I do too, and the Sizzler.
Oh, are you a Sizzler guy or a Tilt-A-Whirl guy?
I was a Sizzler guy when I was 12.
A Tilt-A-Whirl guy.
I think I'd throw up now.
Yeah.
Is that because you always had to sit on the outside?
No, I like to sit on the inside so I'd squish people. It's the only way I get to touch a date.
Oh, that's a great strategy.
I'm going to sit on this end. Do you understand gravity? Nope.
I'm a stupid.
Wink. From Adam K63, why do fans not like Fran Fraschilla? He's probably one of the analysis that is fair and unbiased. Would you rather hear from Jay Billis?
No, God no. Jay Billis is the worst.
I know.
I feel like Fran took a turn this year. People complain about him this year more so than like in the past. Like Fran has been Fran. This year, there's just this weird backlash.
Fran had some struggles this year. I'll admit that. But Fran gets unjustified hate because he compliments your rival.
Yeah. He seemed a little more pro-KU this year.
I'll give you that.
Than what I've heard him in the past. But I think part of that was he was very honest about KU and he got whooped by KU fans who you can't say anything bad about the Jayhawks or you need to be fired.
I like Fran Fraschilla.
I like Fran a lot. I think he's very good. I think he was off his game a little bit this year. Just go back and watch the Javon Carter interview during that K-State game. When he was on camera, he would just stare at the camera and grin like a serial killer. It was really strange. It was very uncomfortable. And it made me realize, they never have him in studio. They have other analysts in studio. But Fran's always on the sideline. And I thought maybe they'd put him in studio once and went, we're never doing that again. The guy I really liked him, I can't think of his name. He just did the game Saturday or Monday, I think.
Was it? Oh, I don't know. Monday, I don't know. I was not paying attention to that.
Would have to look it up.
I've heard that Robbie Hummel's doing a good job this year.
I'm not a huge Robbie Hummel fan.
I mean,
I think he's okay.
I think he's only been in Bramlage.
He's good. No, he did.
He was radio at KU, I think.
Okay, well, we were there.
Well, I know. I'm just.
So, yeah.
I thought it was very strange he was at that game.
Yeah.
He was wearing, look, I know fashion changes, but he was his pants were a good 2 inches off his shoe tops. This bothers me. I don't understand this fashion at all. High waters are high waters no matter what fashion are. I know you're 6'8". No, he's a guy that played at Army, and he's in studio a lot. I think he's a rising star. I think he's really good. And he's concise and really spells out what needs to be said.
Look, Fran's intelligent and Fran is entertaining. No matter what you think of him, that those are undeniable facts. He knows basketball, and he's fun to listen to at times. And he's not freaking Bob Knight and Brent Musburger, the two most dull. I mean, Brent's fine, but look, Bob Knight being on a TV broadcast was one of the worst things ESPN's ever done, ever. So it's not a Bob Knight, and I like Fran, and I hope he's around for a while.
From Jim Cat, since Riley had trouble pronouncing the Alabama quarterback and our new defensive coach, how about a try at the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo?
That's not it.
I don't know what it is.
It's Antetokounmpo.
Is it Antetokounmpo?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
I'm 100% confident.
I don't know.
I will admit I got Tua wrong. I got Tuiasosopo wrong, but it's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
Moving on.
From Wildcat Will 41, what are your thoughts on Fortnite Season 8, or have you guys made the switch to Apex?
I've not switched to Apex. Have you?
No, I've heard about it. I've considered it, but
I like Fortnite Season 8. It's fine. Pretty excited to get that banana skin.
Chris Spatola. Thank you. Go ahead with your...
I don't know what that means.
Chris Spatola is the analyst that did the game.
Oh.
I'd like to see an all-new map, probably, but I don't know.
Get rid of the snow. The snow should have gone in the winter.
I feel like the season changes are... I liked when they made them subtle. Like the Dusty Divot filling in, the whole season like that. But I don't know.
Get rid of the little volcano things, too, that shoot you up in the air. Those are stupid.
I feel like they've made it easier for bad players to make it far.
Yes.
And it's annoying.
Let's talk about the important topic here. The fact that your boss has provided you with a 50-some inch.
It's nice. I got to admit, though, it's taken my eyes some time to adjust to.
I'd rather play on a smaller screen.
It's a lot of graphics moving at once. But I'm getting there. I slowed down the game speed so it doesn't jerk around so fast.
We had to lower his sensitivity.
Whatever.
We can swap TVs out, and you can have a smaller TV.
That other one's so small, though. No,
but if you're sitting right in front of it, it's fine.
Right now, I like it. It's fine. It's also heavy, and I don't want to move it again.
Next question.
Awkward transition.
Sorry, it's infected testicle again. Would you rather have your dream job at $15 an hour, or a job you don't care for that pays $200,000 a year?
You're asking sports writers this question.
The wording is key right there, because he didn't say a job you hate at $200,000 a year. He said a job you don't care about.
You don't care for.
Care for. Okay, well, that changes it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I literally made that choice. I made that choice. I was working in sales. I hated it. It took me 7 years in journalism to equal what I made out of college in sales. But this is what I do. This is who I am. I'm not going to say what I make, but I don't take a radical cut of the proceeds here. My wife is the majority breadwinner in our household. We reinvest back into this company for coverage. I've made that choice, and my friends are all jealous of that, and they often text me that while they're on vacation in Bermuda.
Yeah. I love what I do, and my friend that I went to college with, high school and college with, that I graduated at the same time with, is living in a one-bedroom, or maybe it's two-bedroom, apartment in Great Bend, Kansas, working an 8-to-5 job, and he goes to either Beloit or Wichita, whatever, every weekend, because there's nothing to do in Great Bend. So I like my job in that situation. Now, when I see him roll up in his brand-new 2018 pickup, I get a little jealous of not having that much money. So it's a give and take. $15 an hour. I feel like I don't know the math. I don't know what we make in terms of hourly money, but
let's not get into that. You would take $15 an hour, I bet.
I don't know. Right now, today.
This is a profession known for quality of life or enjoyable work over income. It just is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people that really want to do it. Well, this is what you make. I don't want it. There's only so many guys.
You're going to be in the office recording a podcast at 7:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But you're going to be not doing anything in the summertime.
Yeah, you're going to have.
Yeah,
you're going to work really long
for yourself,
hours.
Pool boy.
You're going to work really long hours at times, but you're also, if there's not a game scheduled or something, and that we've got a sort of a content schedule. If you got not something that's due to be up, Don't come to the office, man.
Yeah.
You're not here to punch a time clock. You're here to get work done, and that's one of the ways I've always run my office. Get your work done. Just get your work done. Cover your beat. That's your criteria. Don't make more work for me. Take care of your stuff. And then, if you want to go drinking on a Thursday night, awesome. Don't miss something on a Friday then. If you want to go drinking on Friday night, cover a TCU game the next day, make sure you're there ready to function.
I was.
That wasn't even about you. That was about your predecessors.
No, that was the bowl game.
No.
Oh, you're talking about different predecessors.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought predecessor was.
That was so epic. The guys went out and hit it. This is years ago because Fritchen was drinking, but Regan and Wallace all went out and hit it in Fort Worth. And they were so hungover they were avoiding me the next day because they knew that's kind of my rule.
That was 2 years before then.
I mean, Zach asked me, "Hey, do we have a drug policy if I go to Colorado?" I'm like, "Don't work stoned. That's my policy. Don't work drunk. Don't work stoned. Just get your stuff done, man."
Mitch almost missed the bowl game. That was a rough night, but we take care of it.
It was the night. It was the night before the TCU game 4 years ago. That you were just slinging me drinks that I said, I'm never drinking before a game ever again.
Yeah.
The nice thing about our job is we can, like Fitz said, the content plan. It's like the beginning of my July this year is going to be very busy between vacations and being in a wedding and things like that. So I'm going to work I'm going to say this podcast, I'm going to work my ass off in late June. Like I'm going to be grinding. But then I'm probably going to have about 2 weeks off, give or take,
right
at the beginning of July. So
right.
It's a give and take.
Yeah, it really is. You don't make a ton of money. You just don't, unless you get to the national level. You're working with ESPN or you're one of the main guys for CBS national writers. Those guys are well into six figures. They get paid extremely well if they have the clicks. And now it's all tangible. If you're writing content and people aren't clicking it, you're not getting a big raise and a big contract. So, it is what it is. We're at the local level. We're probably a business that should have 3 employees, full-time employees, and we have 4. So that kind of comes out of what Becky and I take off, the top for the company. So that's what I chose to do. That's how I want to live my life.
From Wildcat, who is the most famous person any of you has met?
I feel like we have to take Eric Stone Street out of this category.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
Marcus Watts.
Oh my God, Marcus Watts is amazing.
No. I met Dick Vitale at Disney World. Took a picture with him, but I didn't really talk to him.
How old were you?
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Riley, PTB.
He was not very happy because he thought it was like just us. And we took a picture with him, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's Dick Vitale!" And then everybody swarmed. And I was like, "See ya."
Good job.
So I don't know if that counts as meeting him. Does it?
It's not fair because in our industry we interact with people.
That too.
Well, we interact with a lot of people that you're like, you would consider a celebrity, but that's just who we interact with. That's why I'm not particularly impressed with stars and athletes, and because they're very human to me. I get to know them, and the weirdest thing I've had happen is when in the early days of WHB, I was appearing on as a guest on, I think it was the afternoon show. And back then, occasionally they'd had people sit in with them to co-host, and I had George Brett asking me K-State sports questions. And that was just
funny.
It was so surreal. It was like, hold on, one of my childhood heroes is asking me sports questions about K-State.
That's weird.
It was very strange.
So, I guess if we're going to answer the question straight up, I'd have to say Stone Street or Dick Vitale. Off the top of my head, I don't think of anybody else. But also at the same time, for me, like when you think famous people, at least in my first few years doing this, it was like pretty cool to see some people that like I read growing up, things like that. And then when I interned at 810, like I'm in the dugout and I'm like, oh, it's Rustin Dodd. No, he's not famous, but also like I read his stuff. He's cool, very good. So that was really cool. There's things like that. That's how I quote unquote fame.
This is a funny story. So we're getting ready to launch. I'm going to share this with the world. I'm going to call out Stoney on the air. So we're getting ready to launch a show. This Powercat thing. We're going to unveil more details about it as we go here. But we're just starting to feel out some guests, and I don't know. He texted me about something, or I texted him the other day, and
brag.
Yeah. And, well, this is what's funny about it. I said, "Hey, by the way, when are you going to be in town next? Because we're starting the talk show up, and I'd love to have you on." Never responded. It's like he probably is like, "Hell no! I just want to drink with you. I don't want to do this."
I don't want to do work.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Well, that's sad.
Oh, we'll get him on. We'll make him come on.
From Wildcat Tad 2, what are your thoughts on Popeye's chicken?
Good.
Solid.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was blown away when it came here because we didn't have a real chicken place.
We had KFC.
Okay.
But we went through a phase where we didn't have that.
I'll say this.
Start from the bottom here.
When we moved out of Aggieville, I stopped going to Popeyes because, frankly, I forgot about it.
It's hard to get to.
I don't. The only time I was going to Aggieville was when I was drinking, and it's not.
You're not
going to be open at 2
I'm surprised that they tore down the Arby's, and whoever bought it, Popeyes bought it. I'm surprised they said, this median here is not going to affect our business with people trying to turn in and out.
It literally put Arby's out of business.
Yeah.
When we sat in Aggieville business meetings, we talked to the city and the state, we're going, you're going to put people out of business. And there's a liquor store right there that has been historic, been part of Manhattan's culture for years, that will probably go out of business because of that damn median. You can't make a left turn very easily into there. You can, but not the way you grew up.
And you got to cut through the gas station. It's almost like dirty. It's like illegal almost.
Yeah.
I think it is, technically.
And then, yeah.
Right. But Popeyes is...
I'll say this. Went there after the game on Saturday. Had the tenders for the first time. Game changer.
Their shrimp are pretty good.
Also, they have mac and cheese now.
What?
I found that out, unfortunately, too late.
Do you like shrimp?
Popcorn shrimp, yeah.
Yeah, they got really good popcorn shrimp.
Well,
that might be something for Lent there.
Maybe
But yeah, I like Popeyes. Our one here isn't particularly convenient. It was, if you left Aggieville on 12th Street, you could catch it and right turn into it. But then I got to go the other way on Bluemont/Anderson, so I'd have to go. It's just a pain in the butt.
You got to use the alley. The alley is the pro move.
Then you feel dirty. You're driving down
the best was when we worked in Aggieville. We could just walk there. Just cut through the Wahoo parking lot and we're there.
Pepper Jacks.
Side note.
If we're talking about walking to Popeyes, we would walk by Pepper Jacks.
Yeah.
I miss it.
That was kind of my 1 a.m. Let's go to Pepper Jacks. That was the thing.
They were crap sandwiches, guys.
Every pizza shuttle's crap, but at 1:30 in the morning after you've been at the bars, that's the best thing you've ever eaten.
Okay, that might be true. I'm not a drunk eater.
You just are allergic to green peppers.
I'm allergic to green peppers. But no, I go in there and I'm like, okay, we're going to do the steak. We're going to double cheese it. We're going to put some mushrooms on there. We're going to do this all right. And then they're using little cheese triangles and
Subway.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. What do you want your cheese to be? I guess.
Usually it's squeeze on cheese for.
Well, I think that's a different cheesesteak.
I'd rather have the triangles.
That's a Philadelphia cheesesteak.
I'd rather have the triangles.
I would rather have the triangles too. Yeah. I mean, you have Cheese Whiz cheesesteaks, and you have cheesesteaks I want to eat.
But we all agree that the Tanner's cheesesteaks are the best. So
yeah, you order it with double cheese. Coach Riley, I told you to get the double cheese. You said, no, thank you. I'm trying to eat healthy. And you went ahead and added the single.
You said I eat healthy.
And I bet you anything, you were like, this needs more cheese on it.
He had a steak Philly and said he was trying to eat healthy.
Well, that's what I'm like. You're getting a steak, why don't you get it with some, just lard?
It's like you go to Whataburger. When we had this argument, I was like, honey barbecue chicken strip, it's not a burger. And I'm like, oh, wait. The calorie intake is still super high.
Yeah. You're like, this is healthy. And I'm like, no, it's not, Riley. No.
Yeah. If you want a good cheesesteak, go to Tanner's, order it, get double cheese on it, do pepper jack. There you go.
Then it's not a cheesesteak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the best you can do. It was better than the place that had cheesesteak in their damn name.
It was better, but it was still good. Pepper Jack's was still good.
From Woodstock Cat.
That is a new one.
He says long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, if he was at Woodstock, hell yes, he's a long-time listener. Stoned out of his mind, too.
If K-State can pull off the Big 12 title and make another deep run in the Big Dance, does Weber get others? Does Weber get other offers at schools with more money? And if so, would he leave?
It's a really good question. I think I think in this era of the FBI coming down on you, I think Arizona comes into play for him. If they have to make a move on their coach and they have to go squeaky clean,
they should have made a move on him already.
Yeah, so I don't think Weber's going to go anywhere. I think he's here for the haul. As long as he gets taken care of. And let's be honest, if he makes another Elite Eight run, he's probably getting a new contract.
Is he? I don't know about that.
See, that's when you give a new contract. When you don't do one thing, you prove you can do it. You don't, oh, you were good this year. Here's a new contract. Well, you were bad last year. Did you lower his contract? I mean, that's my thing. Sustain something, get a new contract. And if he does that, I'm all for it at that point.
I mean, agents might call. I think we could definitely. Actually, I'm going to predict that we hear his name in coaching circles, just because that's how agents work. Whether or not it's tangible. Hell, he was up for the St. Louis job 2 years ago. That wasn't a real thing.
No.
Whether or not you hear from him, I think he's going to stay. I'm like Fitz. I think this is where he retires.
Maybe he has Seth Luttrell's agent. Get him out. Get his name out there.
Adamant that Bruce Weber will be the next one somewhere else. But no, in terms of the contract, to go on that point, unless you make the Final Four, I don't think you give him a new contract. I mean, his new contract he got last year is very, very pro Bruce Weber.
Incentive laden.
It's a very nice buyout, very nice salary. I don't see it in K-State's favor to get him another raise and another new buyout. And
I'm one of those people. Well, I'll give you a raise. I'll give you more incentives, but we're lowering the buyout. Because if you don't meet the standards, I shouldn't have to pay you. This is the real problem with athletics. Back to the question. I think he will get some interest from ADs who want to go squeaky clean. Because Bruce is known for that. And right now, as I wrote before last season, not this season, last season, with everything going on with the FBI and NCAA, Bruce Weber's a good guy to have in your camp. It's worked out well for K-State. Nobody's sniffing around K-State right now with Bruce. And honestly, if Frank had been here with some of his guys, K-State might be in fringe of some of this stuff, kind of like South Carolina's mentioned, but not
Lamont.
Really. Yeah, well, Lamont was Lamont. Lamont got left behind at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So, so it's worked out well now that the environment has changed in college basketball. Has it changed enough? I don't know, but it just takes 180 to think we got to find a guy that's going to keep our program clean and stop putting us on the headlines, and win enough games with the right kind of guys. And Bruce might check that box. Then it's going to take a lot of money. I think it's going to take a lot of money to get Bruce to leave. I think he's really comfortable here.
What do you think would be like his... There's jobs out there that I guarantee you he would leave for if the price was right and the situation was right. I can't imagine that K-State is like an unbeatable job to him. I mean, I'm sure he's happy here.
I would think Marquette would be.
I would think also, I think if Purdue opened up, like if UCLA picked off Matt Painter.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He'd go back to Purdue. The thing is, there's just not a lot of jobs out there that are going to open up and be a better situation than K-State.
And to be honest, Marquette and Purdue, I don't think can outbid K-State.
Purdue maybe.
Purdue needs good things. Football might have been a blip this year. We'll see.
Yeah. But, I mean, the only way Matt Painter's going anywhere is if, like, UCLA comes along.
Matt Painter is the Gary Patterson of college basketball. His agent leverages every open job.
Get him a statue.
Yep. And that's what I did.
From Adam K63, reflect on the run K-State women had at the end of this year.
Oh, remarkable.
It's been incredible.
I mean, that's 7 of your last 8. However many of them are on the road, you sweep Texas, which is huge because this isn't a down Texas team. I mean, no, they're not what they've been in a few years past, but they're still a very good Texas team, number 3 team in the Big 12. They weren't going to the WNIT, man. They were not. They were 13-9, and what would that have been? 4-6, I think, whatever the record was, and then they kicked in gear, and now they're flirting with what seed are we going to be, not are we going to be in the tournament. They got West Virginia in the first round of the Big 12 tournament. It's going to be really tough. They split it with them, but that loss was just really, really weird. So, I mean, I think if they win that game, they'll they might bump up to the 8-9 line, which I don't think is good. I'd rather see him stay on the 7-10 line, or the 10 line, I guess, with the 7 game. But, it's been a really good season and one that Jeff Mittie needed, absolutely, because let's be real, aside from getting Kindred Weisman and Brianna Lewis in his first few years, who, we're not, if you want to play that with Bruce and Frank, you got to play with Deb and
right.
Jeff. He hadn't done things with his players. I mean, he just hadn't. He was 8-10 a lot. So going 11-7 this year, getting back to the NCAA tournament, assumedly, and being a top 5 Big 12 team is on the right trajectory. And you got to keep it up, got to keep recruiting, but this has been a really good run and launched him into a good position.
From Cheeseburger Satan, what is your favorite Vegas drink, and what are your restaurant recommendations?
He's going to Vegas.
So easy for me. This is so easy for me.
He's staying at Caesars.
Yeah, I never really spend time at Caesars. Don't drink at Caesars.
I had Thanksgiving dinner at Caesars.
Really? My buddy Todd and I, rest in peace, he and I walked in and ordered double Citron and waters with Splash 7 at the bar right there as you walk in the casino. Not even the casino, like a lobby bar, I think. $52 a piece. $26 per shot.
What?
It was premium call. I'm like, okay, here's our credit cards. We're going to leave now.
Was it the best drink you've ever had?
No, it was a double Citron and water with a splash of 7. Charlie at Tanner's does a better job with that.
Wow.
Because it was also measured out,
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, you're charging me $26 a shot. You can free pour this, You can eyeball it in my favor.
I just bought the bottle.
Exactly. Look, my favorite martini in the whole world, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. You go to the Bellagio, which is my favorite casino, and there's a little bar in the casino that juts out into the casino called the Baccarat Bar. The Baccarat room, there's an Asian card game, is behind it. And it's just, they always have VIP tables, that says reserved. If you're with some friends or the wife, slip them some money and get one of those tables and order the cable car martini. It is my favorite martini ever, and what's weird about it, it's ingredients I don't like. But I had it once. A mixologist out of San Francisco designed it, and Bellagio essentially kind of bought the idea. And so it's a Bellagio signature cocktail. It's spiced rum, orange curacao, a little simple lemon syrup. The ingredients don't add up to, and then there's cinnamon on the rim. Sounds weird, trust me. Everyone who's had one loves it, and it's a great people watching. You're out there at the casino at the Bellagio. So you go from the kind of evening where people are coming in from the pool, or they're, passing through for dinner, to, if you stay long enough and you're still able to walk, you see the people come out, because one night I'm passing through the Bellagio, and it depends on what's going on at the Bellagio, but the lowest table I could find for blackjack was $50 that night.
Damn.
And every table was packed. It's been a few years ago, but it was impressive.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Just say, okay, I'm going to sit down here.
Oh, it's a $50 table? All right.
Okay, here's $1,000.
When I was there for that tournament, I got one of them slushies, that you carry around in the big cups on the strip.
The most dangerous thing you can do.
Right, and I got a Red Bull vodka one, and that was really, really good. So that's my suggestion, but I had a grand total of about 4 drinks in the 3-day stretch I was in Vegas. So I was working.
As far as food, get off the strip. Go read your reviews. I wish I'd known about this question.
Unless you're going to In-N-Out.
I would have done some research, because my buddy Eric Winter and I ate at an incredible steak place. It's off the strip. Get off the strip. If you're on the strip, you're going to pay a lot, and there's a kind of corporate feel to everything you're doing. Get off the strip. There's a place, it was over by the convention center, steakhouse, and it was absolutely incredible. But another place is Oscar Steakhouse, which is, we had our anniversary dinner at with all of our friends and family. That's downtown in the, what's the casino? The casino that's at the very end of Fremont Street. Totally spacing it off.
I don't know.
It used to be really cool because the casino's got a circular room above the portico as you drive up, and the windows are circular, and you could look down Fremont Street.
Is it Binion's?
No.
Okay, that's the only casino I can name.
And then they added a zip line down the middle of Fremont Street.
Damn.
Which is cool, but it blocked the view. So, there's a lot of great places. It's really cool. Do the Neon Museum. Take some night, go to the Neon Museum, the Boneyard. It's absolutely amazing. But do it at night because it's neon. The neon doesn't work, but they still light it up. It's really cool. So, but yeah, have fun. And Uber's your friend.
From Cornelio, this is the last question of the podcast. If we end up winning on Saturday, give me your thoughts on what to do about a celebratory beverage to consume. What comes to mind immediately?
Sambuca.
You gotta get I gotta imagine that
champagne that doesn't get in your mouth.
I mean, do we think it's gonna be a party of the type of, hey, we're going to the Sweet 16 flood Aggieville? Is it gonna be that?
I don't know. With spring break starting, I don't know. Students might be sticking around for the game, but might be like, okay, I'm driving home now.
Right, could be that. I feel like you have to get a thing of champagne and do the thing,
Or water bottles and just...
Yeah, you can do that. That's what K-State does. I don't know. I'm pretty boring. Whiskeys, but I think I would do something fun. I think I'd do something like a Moscow Mule. No, I'm kidding.
I think... This is a question better directed by calling the Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Call the Fridge and ask them their advice on their drink to celebrate a Big 12 victory.
Championship, not victory.
What did I say?
Championship.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Dude, call the Fridge, man. They'll tell you. They know their booze better than me. How's that for an endorsement?
Yeah.
That's been it for the Powercat Podcast. We appreciate you coming along for a very long ride this week. But we're excited. We're in our studio. We just found out we just built this studio. We're going to get us another room. The landlord's going to give us, and so we're going to move the podcasting studio into a separate area. It's incredible. We got studios here like having sex and producing more studios. We got studios out the yin-yang.
Woo!
But none of them have an infected testicle. Yeah,
that's how we're gonna end it.
That's how we're ending it. Talk to you next week.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.